I feel very cosmic right now. How many people right now could say, you got Cosmic Road and Cosmic Neighbors? I mean, you can't get more cosmic than this. What a great panel. I want to thank Jack Connor for coming on here. Ron, a lot of people know Ron. He's been on here a lot. So we're going to start off not talking about the whistleblowers, all that yet. You know, whistleblowers, UFOs. Before we get to that part of the subjects, the first thing is I always believe before you talk about UFOs and whistleblower, you have to believe, is there life out there in the universe? Some scientists says yes. Some scientists says no. It has to be a perfect 1 out of a trillion chances that something else can be like Earth. You know, so there's a lot of different theories. Yes, no. You know, even my son thinks we'll never see any alien life form in our lifetime. I'm not saying he's right or wrong. No, a lot of us don't fully know. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm a scientist, that I know exactly what it is. But I remember you're saying something is scientists could say whatever they kind of want, but we don't have I don't know how far technology could get us even outside our own universe, our own galaxy here.
Well, think about this, because see, this is a problem with one, when they talk about life, when they say that, they should just say, when they look for this Goldilocks zone in these exoplanets, say life as we know it. You know, if they're looking for an exact duplicate of us, is there a chance out there? Absolutely. You know what it is? Some people really don't know how big space is. I mean, you can't even comprehend it. It's like our Milky Way alone is 100,000 light years across. It's our galaxy, 100,000 light years. And there's probably a trillion or a couple trillion galaxies out there like that. It's just so enormous that for there not to be life out there, that's the only thing I would say with absolutely no proof that I would bet my life on that there is, without having any proof of it, because it's just way too big. And I mean, we're special in our own right. I just don't think we're that special that in this whole universe we're it. You know what I mean? But it's really big. And I mean, we think of life as us, bipedal, human beings, the mammals, the other mammals we have here. And we talk about little green men or gray, little big-headed gray, big-eye people and all that. But life could take so many other forms. And just energy itself could just be a fields of energy, because I think we're aliens ourselves. We're tech ourselves. Our own body is tech. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I could ramble on and keep going, but
what's your opinion, Jack, about some scientist says there is no life out there? We're just a 1 billion chance that we actually have life here.
Well, you know, I was never a UFO guy or an alien guy until 2017 happened. And, you know, Lou Elizondo and those videos came out. And, you know, when I would talk to friends about it, I would always say, well, I'm sure there's life out there somewhere, obviously. I mean, the universe is just too big. If we evolved here, then surely somewhere out there, life evolved somewhere else. And just statistically, it had to happen. But were they here? No, I did not believe that. If they were here, why didn't they sit down on the White House lawn? All that kind of, you know, rationale. But then 2017 happened, and I began my deep dive into UFOs. And, you know, once you look at the evidence, it's, you know, very, very clear that, yeah, the UFOs are here, and they have been here, and they're interacting with us in a very profound way. And, you know, what does it mean? Well, we can talk about that, but yeah, I mean, I totally understand the point of view of the skeptic. I really do. And it's really unfortunate because, that point of view has been really artificially placed on us. You know, we have been brainwashed, and, you know, I was a victim of, this, you know, control group brainwashing, or whatever you want to call it, that has made this into a fringe topic and a subject of ridicule for decades and decades.
And it is. It's difficult. especially, I think, I don't know. So when science, not all science, we know, I'm not saying all science think a certain way. That's why we have different kind of scientists out there study different things. But for those of the scientists that says there is no life even out there, just so
That's
unresponsible.
a
It's like,
definitive statement. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So
it just
the thing is this. I can't I just said my own opinion is I would bet my life that there is because space is so big, but I have absolutely no proof to be able to say there definitely is. But I also don't have proof to say there definitely isn't. Neither do these scientists because we are just barely now starting to scratch the surface of looking back at redshift with the James Webb. So we just barely seeing stuff out there. So how can anybody say there isn't anything out there? They don't know that, you know. They don't know
it's
that.
all theories, until it's proven, right? I mean, everything is a theory until it's actually proven. Until we get better equipment, better computers, better this, we could travel out farther. Satellites go out farther. Kind of like, we have the rover in Mars. Eventually, we'll probably go further than that and put a rover on another planet.
It's
Eventually,
like
one day.
think about it. The Voyagers, right? The Voyager 1, Voyager 2. I think they were launched in 77, something like that. And they've been traveling for over 40 years at over 35,000 miles per hour. And I think after 43 years, one finally made it outside the solar system, went interstellar. 43 years at 35,000 miles per hour just makes it out of our solar system. And we're like a speck of sand in our galaxy, like that. So those voyages could travel, if they don't hit nothing, they could travel for another billion years. And who knows where they land and hit something like that and could be another species. It's just like I said, I hate to always repeat it, but space is really, really big, you
Yes,
know?
yes,
And
we haven't even gone outside our own galaxy. Really, we haven't. You know?
think about it, right? So when we always talk about travel in space, traveling at the speed of light. So a light year is about 5.8, almost 5.9 trillion miles, right? So that means our galaxy is 100,000 light years across. So traveling at light speed, it would take us 100,000 years to go from one side of it to the other. Okay? Imagine that's just 100,000 light years. And there's enough light years out there that you can't even count no more. There's not even numbers made up for it yet. Like that, that we would never make it. We just don't know. I mean, and scientists out there that say that sounds when they say there's not, I think that's just more of they're more biased and more of a true skeptic than giving a scientific opinion. I think they
Yeah,
just don't believe there is because when you say yes or you say no, that's definitive. You're stating a fact. So what's the proof of that? I don't know why they just can't say, really not sure. That's not a bad answer, to say that.
yeah, we're learning every single day. Technology gets better, better every day. It's pretty cool. NASA, one of the head guys at NASA was just in our town yesterday at the what's that company, Ron, called? The Amazon, the new the group that's building the next ship to go to the moon.
Say that again.
Uh, the company that's making the next ship to go to the moon that NASA signed a contract with.
Oh, what, Blue Horizon?
Blue Horizon, yeah. One of the head NASA
Amazon.
guys was just here the last couple of days at the Blue Horizon, and it was kind of cool. They invited like a lot of teenage kids and stuff to go talk about space, and I love that to get more people involved, and and it's kind of cool. It's weird that we heard they got the contract over SpaceX, but
No,
for
but
this
SpaceX.
area,
But no. But here's the deal: they're giving out multiple contracts.
there's multiple.
SpaceX has, and Blue Horizon is just a part of that. Also, they're to build, so they have to build certain things. But there's multiple contracts going out for the Artemis program. But I was surprised at it too, being that I mean they kind of struggled getting to orbit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now going from that to
the
you're
moon.
advanced enough to be part of the moon mission and build something to get to the moon, you have to get out of orbit first. You know what I mean? So,
But
especially when you build a ship that looks like a dildo. I mean, it's just sorry. I just
no, it's true. It's true. But maybe now they got this contract. Maybe this is now the back is against the wall. They got to produce. So maybe this is the thing that's produced. So now we're all in agreement. All three of us in agreement. We know there is life out there. How advanced they are, that's the question we're all asking for. If they're advanced, of course, if they could come here, of course they got better equipment to go faster than our stuff could go, or it'll take them, like you said, 100 million years to go from A to B. They must have the technology to go A to B like a lot quicker. But the question is, if there's life out there, have they visited us? Do we feel there's enough evidence to prove that? And I think, Jack, you said in 2017, what opened your eyes up was enough proof for you to even want to research it even more. What was the main thing that made you open your eyes again? Like made you think, holy shit, there is life out there.
Well, like I said, I had never taken any of this seriously. From time to time, I would watch, like a UFO documentary, and I would say, "Oh, well, that's interesting. That's
like
something
everybody else. Like everybody else.
That's something fun to think about." But again, if they were here, why weren't they sitting down on the White House lawn? Why weren't we seeing these guys? Surely, if they came here all the way here, they wouldn't be keeping it secret from us. I mean, why? So I just didn't believe any of that. But I thought it was fun to think about. And then 2017 happened. And the Nimitz video and the Roosevelt videos came out. And I was like, whoa, that's really, really interesting. There seems to be something there. And so I did, I began researching it. And because I don't have a day job, I'm a novelist and I have an obsessive personality. Once I get my teeth into something, I just go after it. And I just began going down one rabbit hole after another. And man, I found rabbits down just about every hole. I found proof of, UFOs and the beings, human interaction with the beings, and then it gets, even weirder from there. The cryptids, Bigfoot and the paranormal aspect to it, the metaphysical aspect to it. It's just really, really weird and trippy. And, but yeah, the burden of proof was satisfied for me eventually. It took a long time for me to really convince myself that this was real. And, those 3 videos in 2017 got me started, but it took me a lot more research and time and evidence that I was able to see and, historical evidence, to really convince myself that this was real. And then, my research broadened because in my research, I would come across, alien abductions and stuff like that. And I would be like, okay, well, I'm satisfied now that the UFOs are real, but I'm not going down that rabbit hole of abductions. That's just a bunch of nonsense. But the research would kept coming back to it. And so I would have to investigate that if I wanted to understand what was going on. And so I did a deep dive into abductions and cryptids and other things that are related and part of this. And one thing that you get when you study abductions for any length of time is you get the metaphysical crossover. 1/3 of all alien abductees are near-death experiencers, people who have died, been to the other side, and come back. What does that mean? I don't know, but it hints at a strong metaphysical consciousness, spiritual, whatever you want to call it, connection between the beings and us and what's going on. And, maybe even a key to all this. So I went down one rabbit hole after another and found rabbits down every hole. And now I'm just about a big rabbit.
Well, I did like what you said when you hear it, you didn't write off and said, I believe it. You had to do your own study, your own research to come to that determination that I'm going to believe in something. You just didn't do it overnight. You did your type of research. But the question is every day we're hearing stories, but then it seemed like the next day, 10 years later, 20 years later, this person falsified this person falsified that. So what do you look for, Jack? Like when you look at these stories, what are you looking for to try to determine that I could get behind this story versus this story? Is there something you look at? Because it seems like nowadays everybody's just here to make money. Not everybody, but a high percentage of people exaggerate to make money.
and 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 just to add on to that, because like I've always said, I said it before when you asked me, I believe there's life out there, but evidence isn't proof of something. You know what I mean? Evidence could help you lead to more or whatever. But have you found anything that you can say is definitive proof? You know what I mean? Where you could point to. That's what I'm curious about. Something that just say, yeah, look, and not just something that was said or anything. Do you know of any hardwired proof of aliens or even a ship or something that landed?
Well, I mean, countless people have interacted with these guys and are alive to tell about it. And, and their stories are very consistent with each other. And their minds have been wiped of these experiences and they have to recover them through hypnosis. Most of them have not sought any publicity or written books about it. It's, it's not but to be sure, I mean, to your point, there's absolutely a lot of BS. There's hoaxers. There's people trying to get attention. I mean, there's deliberate disinformation put out, and it's a process to wade through all that and to sort out the wheat from the chaff. And, I look for points of corroboration. If I see enough points of corroboration from enough people who have, seen or interacted with the same sorts of phenomena, and those are credible people, and a lot of them do have actual evidence of it. There's, alien abductees will have marks on their bodies. They will have implants. They will have witnesses who, saw something. Like Whitley Strieber has several witnesses that have seen parts of his interactions. He had friends to his cabin all the time back in the day, and they saw parts of this stuff. And even the woo-woo stuff, when the beings would help him have out-of-body experiences, and he would go visit people. And those people, confirmed that, yeah, a ghost Whitley showed up in my bedroom. So for me, the burden of proof was satisfied a long time ago. And I totally get it if you are more skeptical and need more hardcore proof. But from my point of view, the most solid proof has been hidden from us, that the Men in Black descend on, these events and they cover it up. And, that's from what I've seen. And if you have a different point of view, no problem. I'm totally cool with all points of view, but I'm sorry, Eric.
No. It's all hard. I think Ron was talking like before even the show started that nothing is 100% real unless it happens to you. Everything is percentage wise. You're taking, a lot of times it is taking a faith into what you're reading or what you're seeing, studying the person, studying that person's background, because it is a lot. At the end of the day, it is faith, unless it has happened to you at 100%. Now that it's just,
I am a UFO experiencer now, and definitely sealed the deal for me.
It's getting so much harder nowadays. In my town, here, I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to pull. This is not like a UFO video or nothing, but hold on a second. Let me pop this up. I gotta your browser. Oh, I can't browser trouble sharing your video. This can't happen. Really? I can't show this video? Oh, that's weird. Well, in my town, our little Des Moines towns, the famous Mary Island incident area, the first story of the Men in Black. Our fireworks show was not a fireworks show. Our fireworks show was actually a pure drone show. And I was trying to play the video Or hold on a second, maybe I could do it this way. What amazing things these drones can do now. Let me see. Maybe I could do it through. Can I do it this way? Come on, download. That's not gonna work. But what I mean is we're watching these drones and how fast they can go. How they can move. They all stay in line. And I was talking to one of the workers there in the back. I was like, a lot of people are seeing these triangles now. Goes and I showed him a couple of videos that's on YouTube. Like, could these be drones? He goes, these drones are so advanced that they could travel in almost the same distance and not even move apart. Any way you program it. And of course, you can program the camera to make it look even faster. I'm not trying to disapprove anybody's videos. I guess he's like, the main thing he need to do is look at the date and the year and when those videos came out, because technology is even better. They didn't have that technology back then. But I'm just getting at now, with these technology of these drones could do so many things, it's going to make it that much harder for us to recognize what's a real UFO. I'm not talking about UFO from outer space. I'm not talking about Chinese balloons, but what's a real UFO anymore? Because even these drones are so advanced. Like, we were watching a drone, a guy rolling a boat at our fireworks show at a good pace.
Now, on the
Yeah,
bottom there,
100%.
you've seen this before. Watch. It's hard to see, but watch from the top right corner. I filmed this. See it right up there?
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't
now,
show that
sound
one.
you hear. That sound you hear is not that. It's the Long Island Expressway. Now, that I don't know what that was. That was me recording month after month, every night from about 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. or to 6 a.m. and everything. And I would check every day, was coming up with satellites, everything. And just this one night, I ended up seeing that. Now, just because it doesn't have FAA blinking lights doesn't mean it's not a plane. I'm not saying that's an alien ship, or I'm not just even saying that's TR-3B. But when you see something like that, that's three SETI lights like that, and it makes you wonder. There's a lot of things that we see. I don't think that was a drone, but that could be something military. Who knows? Who knows what that was?
We've got stuff.
And I mean, there's a lot of things, because you spoke about drones. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to take over the conversation, but
No.
years back in New York, there was a park where I lived. It was called Juniper Valley Park. And it had this giant field in the middle where people, they weren't supposed to, because you can't go over 400 feet with your drone. But one night I didn't hear anything. And I just seen this blue lights like that, nothing blinking or anything. And my heart, I ran home and grabbed my camera and I started filming. And then I told my girlfriend the next night, I want to go over there and see. And then I met the UFO. I met the guy. He has his drone that it goes way up and it just has these lights that go like that. You don't hear anything. And my heart was pumping. I thought I got a UFO. You know what I mean? So I'm glad I didn't try to be first and pump and shove it up on YouTube, because then I would have looked like an idiot. But there's a lot of things out there that's in the sky. Now, I'm not saying that aliens haven't visited us or whatever, but you see a lot of these big UFO, and not even big, all small, big channels, little channels, everything, that they pump out all this stuff of every light in the sky is a UFO. And I don't think it is. That's my opinion. I don't think it is.
No. This is, I converted the video in iMovie so I could play. See, like I know that's nothing special there, but that's all done by drones. And I can only film 25 seconds, but after 25 seconds, it was actually doing this with the drones. And it was just pretty amazing. The guy said those drones that they were using, they're just medium drones. They have ones that are way superior than the drones they had that could do a lot faster and a lot more. Now he told me a secret. He told me, yeah, we didn't want the drones to go too fast because we want every year to look like they're getting more advanced. You know what I mean? Like they don't want to throw all their stuff out there, but these drones are amazing what they could do. So Jack, Jack, when you see videos now of people with UFOs out there, can we even count anymore now? Like unless it lands on your backyard, are UFO videos even irrelevant anymore?
Well, for me right now, provenance is everything. It depends on where these videos are coming from.
That's an awesome point. Where are they coming from? Who's putting them out there? And are they because a lot of these videos that come out, the person behind them don't even put their names. They don't talk about it. They put no description. They just put out this video and like, well, I can't even research it.
Right. No, that's a red flag for me. If it's an anonymous posting, I pretty much instantly discount it, unless there's some sort of reason for, their anonymity, they're afraid of the Men in Black or something. But yeah, typically, if it's coming from a source I trust, like, Lou or Chris or, Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp or something like that, then I take it very seriously. But if it's just coming from some random guy.
You trust Corbell and Knapp?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. No, I mean, I'm not going to say nothing towards that. I'm just because I have my opinions, and I know a lot of people trust him. A lot of people don't.
Well, what I like about Jack, like myself and Jack was on Alien Girls channel, and like I said, I did not believe the certain person, but like you said, everybody has the right to believe and their own reason to, and I love it where Jack and I were like, okay, that's cool. You believed it, I don't. That's what's awesome about this panel. Everybody is.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't ridicule
awesome.
him or like disrespect him or anything because to each their own. Like that. I just wanted to be clear of what he said. But
is there a reason, Jack, that like Corbell seems more of a news guy in a way where he's just taking other people's videos and they're not all from him. He just like the middle guy. I got it from you. I'm going to show it to you on this news channel.
And he cashes in on it.
So
that's it.
Is it where you trust, maybe not necessarily from him, but the people he's getting it from? Maybe like
yeah. Well, okay. So I implicitly trust George Knapp. I just love George Knapp. He is awesome. We would not exist in this present age of UFO semi-disclosure without George Knapp. Without him writing the book about Skinwalker Ranch and doing his various reportings, breaking the story on Bob Lazar, all that kind of stuff. But especially his work on Skinwalker Ranch and getting the ball rolling there and eventually getting the government to start studying it. Which of course eventually employed Lou Elizondo, who on that program or the subsequent program ATIP, it began as OSAP, and anyway, so so then Lou came out, and so George Knapp got this whole ball rolling, and so we wouldn't have the Nimitz videos or the Roosevelt videos or this whole thing, Arrow, everything. None of this would exist. Not that I trust Arrow, but anyway, so I love George. He's done some great reporting. He's been one of the early pioneers of credible reporters covering this topic in a credible way. And, he really vetted Bob Lazar very thoroughly before he ran those stories. And
the thing about, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Did you hear what George Knapp said when asked finally about evidence? Do you have any evidence with Bob Lazar? And George Knapp said, no, I have no evidence.
And Ron, you and I, we done shows on Skinwalker Ranch. To me, I'm not saying there's nothing going on at Skinwalker Ranch. I don't know. I'm not there at all. But sometimes I get worried when it seems like every time there's a camera on or they're doing a show there, they always catch something. It's like it's like certain YouTubers. Every time they go out, they always catch something. There's always on every single trip. And I'm sitting there like, in reality, if you talk to most real UFO paranormal investigators, they might get something 1 out of 10 times, 2 out of 10 times. But it seems like the group at Skinwalker Ranch is always catching something. And I'm thinking to myself, well, if there really was something there, and there could be, I'm not there, but is something there, what if the government will 100% take over, even from the NAP, the people who own it, like, we're going to take over because there is something there. You know what I mean? I mean, that's what I'm worried about. They catch too many things.
Well, OSAP couldn't get refunded. The program that was studying it, the government program, there wasn't enough support in government to keep it going.
So the government did have it, but they just...
Yeah, the government studied it. The government came in, Bob Bigelow partnered with them, and they studied it for years, with taxpayer money. That was OSAP, and, segued into ATIP. And they had the $20 million in funding, and they, we don't know what they found because it's still classified to this day. And it's very frustrating. I would love to know what they came. I mean, there's werewolves running around.
I agree with you there.
I want to see that.
I agree with you there. If they spent $20 million of our tax dollar money, then we should have every right to see proof or no proof.
Not if they did. That's on record. They did $22 million.
$22 million. Okay.
But go look at Skinwalker Ranch, how it's a joke. I mean, not saying that there's nothing paranormal because I don't know. But when you got a guy that was running the UAP task force, is Taylor, Dr. Taylor, and he's just, I can't watch the show no more. I just look, and he's doing calculations that UAP just passed at 3,600 miles per hour. It was a friggin' fly. It was a fly. When they zoomed in and did the analytics on it, not on that show they didn't, they still leave that as a UAP. It was a friggin' fly, clearly going by. But they ran with it as that, and they all have the face like this. And like you said, they always catch something. So how come when, and you've heard me say this before, when you got them yelling, look, UAP, UAP, the cameras that they use these ARRI cameras, right? They're basically like, some of them are better than telescopes. What do they show? They show the person looking up. They put the camera, these powerful cameras on that, a little blurry dot, never zoom in to get clear or anything like that. They show a dot and then show the person looking at a UAP supposedly. That's all BS. And if there was anything on Skinwalker, they discredited it big time with that show, because now it's just a joke. Especially with that fly, I'll never watch it again, ever, like that.
Well, okay, I would argue that we've all misidentified UFOs, and that it's easy to do. And they did.
That wasn't live, though, Jack. That was filmed.
Their reaction was live. So they were responding to it in the moment, and they
was
messed
filmed
up.
last summer. That was filmed last summer. So
I agree.
They had time to edit that and to realize, wait, that's a fly. Let's not put that in there. No, they left it in there and left it as a 3,600 mile per hour UAP, something they filmed last summer. They're filming their new season now.
Oh, hold on. Oh, so you're saying that it's been proven it's a fly, but they still played that clip even after that information got out? Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, Mick West debunked it after the episode came out, but he was right to debunk it because it was a fly. But their reaction was genuine and honest. And they messed up, but we've all misidentified UFOs.
Because if you believe it's a UAP, yeah, I'll react like that too, but that's what I'm getting at, is that you think that they're taking that and then they're just cutting that. And if they're not looking into that, these so-called researchers, they're not diving into that and they're putting that out there, that's garbage.
I agree. That shouldn't have slipped through. I totally agree.
And that's the problem with networks too, because networks themselves want things that's going to get ratings, and they're going to, I'm not, like I said, I wasn't there. Maybe they told the network, we don't want that in there. The network says, no, we're putting it in there because that's going to have ratings. Either way, That's
But
they sh- you
but
know they
but
show.
I would like to add this. Okay, so I didn't used to believe in any of this, and then when I got into it and I encountered the metaphysical part of all this, I've been really blessed to have a series of really cool events happen for me, and to encounter the paranormal, the spiritual, whatever you want to call it. And once you have had ghosty activity, you're very quick to attribute anything to that activity. If you have a missing sock around the house, you're going to say, "Hey, it's a freaking ghost that took my sock." But no, you just probably misplaced it. It's probably in the laundry machine, and I think that's what's going on at Skinwalker Ranch. They've had so many genuine events that anything that happens, it's a UFO or whatever. And I think that's what happened there.
It also sells because at the end of the day, they got to get ratings. So that's why they do that. Now, I'm just saying the show is so commercialized because, and again, if somebody tunes in, they hear me, they think I'm this skeptic. I'm just this skeptic that I don't believe crap. No, I'm skeptical of things. I don't just believe things blindly. I like to look into things and try to do Occam's razor. I like using most of the time, but I like to look at it. But I don't like just hearing somebody say something because they think they're supposed to be credible that I take that as gospel. No, that's not. At the end of the day, it's all just words, just stories.
You guys want to hear some weird truth? This is true. My brother is correct on this. Charles Manson at one time actually lived out there in Skinwalker Ranch and was a UFO hunter. I'm not saying that's crazy or not, but that's actually factual. Now, it's just hard because you don't know. Like you said, they might have caught something so awesome, most beautiful, but back in your mind, there's so much shady stuff. You're bypassing whatever's real. But but I never asked Ron this, and of course I never asked you this, Jack. I want to get your guys' opinion on because I did a show on the so-called newer popular whistleblower. David Crush, the David guy, and I told people my beliefs that I respect his military career because I was military. I'm not questioning anything from his military side, but I don't know if I believe anything he says about classified information because, in my belief, I want to get your guys' opinion that if you give out classified information, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a Gorbel or not. You will get arrested. You will go to prison. And the people who's giving it to you, their career's finished. So knowing that, like Snowden's in Russia, there's that 21-year-old kid that got arrested. The Air National Guard forgot his name. He's arrested. All these real whistleblowers get arrested, but guys like David don't. So that, I don't believe him. So Ron, what, in your opinion, and I'll get Jack's next. So Ron, tell me, what do you believe about the David Crutch whistleblower guy?
I think he's another Elizondo that they put out there, right? Like you got to remember, Elizondo, counterintelligence guy. What does that mean? He's a professional bullshit artist. That's his job. That's what he was trained for. This guy goes, like, great. It sounds great, everything, right? But like you said, with classified information, he could say anything he wants. If he's not revealing classified information, they got nothing to worry about. Like that. And even so, at the end of the day, what did he say? Okay, he just told us a story. So because he's a military, and that's the thing, I'm not going to qualify it. Like, I respect military personnel, but I feel everybody has to always say that because other people are going to get offended. Oh, you disrespect it. No, I'm not going to, just because a person served the country doesn't mean I got to believe every shit that comes out of his mouth.
Exactly. Just like when they have I don't have to respect him.
No, like the pilots, like, oh, a pilot, a trained Air Force pilot. No, he's a trained Air Force pilot. He's not a trained UFO hunter. That he's going this way at 900 miles an hour and something's zipping that way. Don't tell me he has these super bionic eyes that, oh, he could see details and knows this and that. Just seen something go by. But because he's an Air Force, works in the military, that's it. That's untouchable. You can't say anything or criticize that. No. At the end of the day, he's a human being. Or he or she, whatever, like that. And I think that guy, Gruss, I don't know, came out of nowhere and just with that and revamped old stories.
What do you think, Jack?
Okay, yeah, well, let me take that in a couple of different bites. Let me tackle Lou real quick, and then I'll go to Dave.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, so, I totally understand if you're skeptical of Lou, but you can't debunk Lou without debunking the videos and the incidents, because that's all Lou did really was get those videos out. And so to call him a PSYOP agent or disinfo agent, well, you have to debunk those videos. And the Nibbins
videos.
First of all, I agree. I hate that word psyops.
I didn't say psyop. I said he's a bullshit artist.
Yeah.
Well, but that's saying the same thing. You're saying you don't believe his story, and what he did was get those videos out. So you have to go through those accounts. You have to call Commander David Fravor a bullshit artist. You have to call Ryan Graves a bullshit artist. You have to call.
If those videos are classified, wouldn't he be arrested?
No. Okay. So the way that my understanding of those incidents and those videos is he was able to very sneakily, because he was working with Chris Mellon and TTSA, and they wanted to get these videos out. And it was understood that he was leaving the government and he was going to go public with this stuff. But the way my understanding is he got those 3 videos and then he took them and he got them, I think unclassified is the word, for inter-office sharing. He didn't tell the people that were reviewing those videos to get them unclassified that they were UFOs. He just said those were interesting objects. I want to get somebody else's opinion outside of this office. So I'm getting them unclassified for inter-office sharing. And, they could be drones, they could be Chinese, spy planes or whatever. I need to get some more input on this. And so not knowing that they were potential UFOs or non-human vehicles, he was able to get those unclassified. And because they were now legal to distribute, he was able to smuggle those out to Chris and TTSA, and they got those videos out.
And to this day, he still doesn't admit that he let out.
No, but it was illegal. It was legal what he did. It was very sneaky. It was very sneaky, but he was not a leaker in the sense of releasing illegal or classified documents.
Yeah, but there's something I really want to ask you, because you keep saying about no matter what happened, those videos, you can't. What do you see in those videos that you can say, what do you see? Because even the Go Fast video from back when, it's proven with triangulation that this so-called thing that was going 2,600 miles an hour is going 40 miles an hour.
Well, that's the Midwest version, yes.
What do you see in those Lou Elizondo videos? What is it for you that you think those are?
Well, okay. I mean, that's a big subject because you have to take each video and each witness. But just go, with the Go Fast video, those pilots were very excited to get that locked in. I don't think they would have been that excited to get it locked in if it had been going 40 miles an hour. But yeah, so Ryan Graves and his pilots aboard the Roosevelt were seeing these objects every day for about 2 years. One of them almost collided with one. And it was a really weird object, a cube within a sphere or a sphere within a cube. Anyway, so they were seeing these all the time. And so one of them finally got one locked in and was very excited about that. Anyway, so there's several.
What is this? He said debunked by West, by the way.
Yeah. Nick West is the one that.
Those videos you're talking about have all been like wiped off, especially the Go Fast. That Elizondo, by the way, when he was on his TV show and he's there saying, yeah, going Mach 2, these things going 40 miles an hour, not Mach 2. But that's Elizondo. He became a profiteer.
That is the Mick West diagnosis. Yes, that is not necessarily the correct diagnosis.
No,
Mick West, everything is.
I'm not talking about.
I'm not an expert at this stuff. No. When you said it's not the Midwest, what are you talking about? What do you mean it's not the
Mick West. He's saying that's a guy on Twitter. He debunks things, but that's not what Mick
Well,
West.
that 40-mile-an-hour figure
Yeah,
you're quoting
came
is from Mick
from all the
West.
scientists at NASA, and especially the mathematician that did all the triangulation of using all the data on that pilot screen. And you could do the math and it checks out like that. That go fast video, the one that Lou was saying, Mach 2, it's going at least. And they make all these, no, it's going around 40 miles per hour. It's because it was the distance of that object from the ocean, the speed of the plane going that way, and capturing it gives the illusion that it's going fast. So for somebody to spit out, it's going Mach 2 without doing the math and knowing, and they're on TV getting paid for all that, claiming they don't get paid. No. I think.
All right. So, all right. You're going to argue the go fast, but it's hard to argue the gimbal or the tic tac. There were a lot of witnesses to the tic tac, and the pilots involved in that. Really credible people like Commander David Fravor and multiple other people who interacted with this object. I mean, Commander Fravor got in a dogfight with this thing. And there was another.
He did. I don't believe Fravor too much, especially before he did that happen. What did he want to do? That self-admitted. What did he used to love to do? Pull UFO hoaxes on people. Now, did he see something? He probably seen something. I think he amped that up. I think Fravor just kind of like, and the other guy that was watching the thing, there's not like, they keep saying there's all these witnesses. Where? That seen it. Where? You hear Fravor going on shows talking about it.
Well, no,
it started at 80,000 to over 20 feet over the water. Then that changed to 40,000 to 20. Then it went to 10,000. It's changed so many times. I mean, and where is it though?
Okay, well, multiple other pilots that were involved in that have come forward, as well as people like Sean Cahill and Kevin Day and various others who were all witnesses to the whole or part of this encounter, this series encounters, because it lasted about a week with potentially 100 objects, and as well as a big object in the water. There's a lot of witnesses, a lot of stuff. And if you want to say they're all lying, then I mean that's your purview. But
I think they seen something, but I don't think they seen aliens. That's what I'm getting at. Just like the stuff out there with the Omaha, with the USS Kidd and the Russell that Corbell tried to push off as off-world things that were drones.
Well, but they weren't.
They weren't what?
Drones.
How do you know that? What makes you say that?
Okay, all right. So you want to go to the flying?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go to the flying green pyramid. All right, and the other anomalous objects from the videos that Corbell released. In some of those, we have radar data, and there's radar data from one of them that shows these various objects blinking in and out of existence. So that's because these are warping space and time or doing whatever the heck they're doing. There's witnesses, there's video, there's radar, there's infrared. There's multiple points of corroboration and proof of these encounters.
Okay. The videos you're talking about what Corbell let out, did you then watch those same videos when the Navy let them out, but with the actual sound, not muted like Corbell let out? Did you ever watch the ones that they let out after of those exact videos, but with the sound of the Snoopy team? Did you watch those?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so you hear them, right? When they're talking about the drones, 150 feet and all that. The ones that Corbell went on TMZ and all over saying that those were off-world, those aren't drones, and that he muted those videos, those ones that were leaked.
Well,
so then that being drones, and even the pictures, I've even covered that, Eric, on my channel at times, because if you want a good reference to this, go to the drive.com. I'm sorry. I told you I gotta give me a second. Drive.com. I gotta take this. It's important. I told you. Hold on.
No problem. No problem. God, I lost my I lost my train of thought for a second. Um, what was I? What was I thinking? Now were these pilots? Are they military pilots or are they pilots for like for
Navy
airport
pilot.
company? Because
Yeah, Commander David
myself
Fravor
being
is
in
the
the
Top Gun pilot.
My brother was in the military. Pilots have a protocol on how to report things, on what to say, and they're not just allowed to talk to the public without getting permission of anything they saw during their military working hours, basically working hours. So for me, for me, it's hard to believe what these pilots are saying because a pilot working for the military has to get permission to say anything that they saw during their job. You sign. It's they just can't come free. So people say, well, it came from pilots. Yeah, but if it was a real UFO, I don't think those pilots would be allowed to even say anything because I don't think the military will give them permission to, because otherwise they can lose their pension, they can lose everything from the military. Like myself being in the military, if I saw something that I saw during a watch, I was on a cutter ship, and sometimes you see things, and when you see things, you have to report it. You have to, no matter what, you have to report it. And then once you report it, I'm not allowed to tell anybody on what I saw unless I get permission from them. I just can't see military giving permission to pilots to come out freely to say those are real UFOs. Maybe that's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, totally. No, that's a great question, and I think that's a fair question. Some of those guys were made to sign NDAs, and some weren't. Commander Fravor says he was not made to sign an NDA, which is so.
He's wrong. When you sign up for the military, you're signing 100 papers that technically the ADA is actually written within the first contract you sign when you get into the military. So it might not be the actual ADA like Hollywood will make you sign, keep secret. But when you sign up for the military, you do sign paperwork to say you cannot say anything outside what could be considered classified, unclassified without permission from Uncle Sam.
Yeah, no, I think that's a fair question. And now I think that what allowed them to talk about it was when those videos went public. Since this was no longer a secret incident, they could discuss some of what they saw and experienced. And so that's my understanding. But I'm open for new information about that.
You might be right. I don't know about, like, once the information gets out there, then are they allowed to talk about it? I might have to look that one up because I don't even know the answer to that.
I don't either. I would love to have a definitive answer on that. But okay, so getting back to David Grush, because I said I was going to take it in 2 bites, and I was going to tackle Lou first and then Dave. Dave was protected by the whistleblower laws, and that's what enabled him to come forward to give his classified proof, as it's been called, directly to the Inspector General and Congress. And that's not for public dissemination, although I'm hoping that some unclassified version of that will be released because the public does need to see that proof. But yeah, so that's how he was able to get out this classified information, is from, it wasn't a leak, it wasn't illegal, it was from these whistleblower protection laws that have allowed him to do this. And he actually had to circumvent Arrow and Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, the lovely Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, because Arrow is a place where all this is going to die, and Sean Kirkpatrick is part of the cover-up, just like Bray and Moultrie. And so the whistleblowers don't trust Kirkpatrick, and they are having to circumvent him. The new laws, if they're passed, might actually eliminate that avenue of circumventing Kirkpatrick. They might compel and force whistleblowers to come through Arrow to get this information out, and that would be very unfortunate if that happens.
Is Arrow Is that a real department organization that we could even trust? Be honest with you guys. I mean,
No.
I mean,
No, it's led by Kirkpatrick, who's part of the cover-up. No, it began as a sincere effort. All this began as a grassroots movement sparked by Lou Elizondo and Chris and TTSA, and it became this huge thing to engage the public. Finally, pressured Congress into creating this program. The first real UFO program supposedly to sincerely look into the UFO effort, since Blue Book, but even a step beyond that. And but then it became another Blue Book, and the people that have been covering this up forever took over it, and it was even that way during the UAP task force before it became Arrow. Jay Stratton, who was a sincere actor, and that was actually trying to get this stuff disclosed. He was the head of the UAP task force, and then for whatever reason, he stepped down, and Bray and Moultrie took over. Heckle and Jekyll, the two guys that lied at the UFO hearing, a year or two ago, and then Kirkpatrick, one of their allies, was appointed to lead Arrow, and here we are with the fox guarding the hen house.
yeah, it's hard to know who to believe really anymore. It really is. It seemed like right now UFO is very hot because the government, Arrow. It's an easy time to jump in with stories. I'm not saying fake or real, but UFOs are hot. It's very hot right now.
But here's something though too, because you have to, and I'm not saying to you, Jack, or you, Eric, I say this generally, like you have to pay attention to things like when the real thing happened, like when that balloon from China was floating over, right? Now that balloon, that was real, that thing. Now, real to what we've seen, we still don't know all the detail because they don't say anything. But if you realize every word on the news prior to all that, UAP, it would be UAP this, UAP that. Whenever it did, they still laugh, little green men. But then after the China balloon got shot down, all of a sudden, mysterious, a few other little balloons, day after day, were getting shot down. But the media went crazy and they dropped UAP and made sure to stick the word UFO in the everybody's face, not just America, everybody's face. It was UFO, UFO, UFO. Then after that died, not a week later, out of sight, out of mind, you never heard about it again. They went right back to UAP. My opinion, right? For whatever it matters, it may mean nothing to everybody out there, and that's fine. But it's that the majority of these things that we see, and it's not saying that aliens don't come here or whatever, it's adversarial, it's training exercises, it's advanced tech, it's tech from our, like I said, adversaries, and that's how they cover those. They let people believe. Why do you think when I ran the FOIA on Corbell and Knapp, while everybody was running FOIAs on them to see what they found, I ran a FOIA on, has there been an investigation into those leaked videos, being that Susan Goff confirmed to myself as well as the Black Vault and everybody else that those videos were confirmed, filmed by the Navy Snoopy team. Whatever was in those videos, they had no comment on. So they know those were leaked out, but they didn't investigate anything. And if they have, they didn't mark anything as classified, nothing. I have the FOIA request. I put it on my show, on your show, I think once. I put it on a Cambian show, and it shows straight up. They checked 5 different ships, the Russell, the Kidd, I forget the other 3, but they checked all records, no records found of any investigations. Now, why would they not investigate anything of a person, a naval personnel filming radar on a ship, an active duty ship, leaking it to a guy that's running on TMZ, one after another. Why would there be no investigation, not even a statement about it coming out public?
Sure. Okay. So my understanding of that, and this is the best understanding that I have. We're still in the fog of war on a lot of this, so new information could come out, but it appears that a lot of these videos came to Chris Millen, and they were considered as potential videos to show during briefings to people, and they were not classified, and they were cleared to show to people. And for whatever reason, they did not use those in briefings. And maybe if they had used those in briefings, those would be classified. But so this is leftover material from unused briefing material. And Chris Mellon had some of this stuff, and he gave it to Jeremy Corbell to release. And so it wasn't a leak in the illegal sense of the word, but it was, again, another sneaky way of getting this information out. I don't know which videos fall into that category. I think the Mosul orb and maybe
I'm talking about, because see, a lot of confusion comes like with the Tic Tac stuff and all that happened in 2004, right? 2004 that happened with the Go Fast, all that stuff. 2019 was the USS Kidd, the Omaha. That's when they said there was a swarm of UAP swarming out naval ships off the coast of California. And it turns out that there was a Jones.
Well, but they weren't.
I know you say they weren't because you believe who?
Lou Elizondo.
Okay. He wasn't talking about that. Those videos that Lou Elizondo got out weren't of that. Those were from...
No, he's directly commented on those videos.
Yeah, he also said the Go Fast video, that one. And I know, Danny, you said before, Danny, that don't believe NASA. It has nothing to do with believing NASA. Go back to that video of the scientist, the mathematician up there who did the triangulation of it. I've done it. It adds up. 40 miles per hour that thing goes. Go do the math. So it has nothing to do with, don't believe NASA. I don't care what NASA says. NASA doesn't tell truth about anything. But when somebody's up there telling you the math and you go and do the math and it checks out like that. Mine was off a little bit. I'm not a great mathematician. I'm not a mathematician at all. But
okay, well, I can see how you could make that argument for the Go Fast. I don't see how you can make that argument for the gimbal or the Tic Tac.
Because the gimbal doesn't show anything. But the Go Fast
goes like that.
My point to you. When you have Elizondo saying the thing was going 2,600 miles an hour when it was going 40. That's all I need is for you to lie.
Those pilots were very excited about it. I don't think they would have been that excited if it had been going 40 miles an hour. But I have seen it calculated both ways. And
you said that before about the Skinwalker Ranch. You said the same thing. This isn't live shows that they're filming it live and he's saying that live. This is all stuff said that is being edited and allowed to go through, and he's allowing that and not coming out correcting that, saying, that wasn't right or wrong or nothing. He sticks by it. So that's why he's full of crap. He's and not even full of crap, because like I told you, he's a counterintelligence guy. And that's what his job was. He said it from the beginning, but everybody seems to forget that. They made all kind of man explaining for him when he came out and said he wants to blow up ufology. And then everybody came out and said, no, what he really meant was, no, he said it. And then
he was attacking Stephen Greer, and he was right to do so. But
let's
do
this real quick, because we're gonna wind down. We hit the hour mark.
I actually have to go, Eric. I told you that call I was waiting on.
Yeah,
that's the call I got about 5 minutes ago or something. They're waiting on me because I told you I wasn't probably going to stay the whole hour, but I'm actually over. So I actually have to run out, man. I'm so sorry.
I only have one last question. Seems like all these videos that are shown are government, military related. Unless I'm wrong, I don't see Arrow or any of these groups really studying anything that's from the private sector. So I want to know, like, Like, I know, Ron, you got to go first. Ron, am I wrong? Have they talked about the private sector footages, or they just don't care about the private sector of footages?
I have no idea if they have anything with the private sector, but here's a little food for thought before I go. I was just talking about the Chinese balloon and everything, and those other ones that they so-called shot down that we haven't heard about after. Go look up in the record, the actual record of the questions that were asked to DOD. Remember, those were labeled UFOs. The FBI was investigating, not Arrow. Arrow was not involved with that. Now, why is that? If that's what they're in their purview, that's their thing, what the taxpayers are paying for, that they created this office for. They weren't. The FBI was. They didn't get Arrow involved on UFOs. People gotta wake up. And now I'm not doing no conspiracy stuff, but like, they want people to run with the whole UFO thing. It's a distraction. I mean, most of that stuff. And the thing is this, people could believe what they want. Just like what I'm saying, how I feel, people looking at me the opposite way. Jack's probably looking at me, nope, that's it. Because we're all allowed to have our opinions and our thoughts. And I look at it a certain way. And if I'm wrong, so be it. But I see things a certain way. But I'm not going to criticize you or anybody else for having different thoughts. That's fine. You do your thing. I guess I agree to disagree. That's it. So.
Sounds good.
Yeah, because if we all agree, then there's something wrong.
No, there definitely is. And I think the bottom line is that I think holds true for all of us is that at the end of the day, we just don't know.
Yeah. So Jack, like to you, everything you study, do they talk about the private sector UFO footages, or?
Oh yeah.
Or they do.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of this stuff is held in the private sector. The UFO crash retrievals and reverse engineering.
I mean, why don't they show it like during their conference on TV? When they're all together. I never see anything that's from the private sector. It's always the military stuff.
I mean, all that's secret. I mean, that's a closely held secret. I mean, that's the Men in Black. I mean, they're retrieving these UFOs from all around the world and reverse engineering them. And
I'm so sorry. I want to address, because Danny's been yelling this out for the last 30 minutes, and I just didn't mention it. The sun. It's possible because we had radio interruptions out west last week from another. There was a massive coronal, a CME, a solar flare, coronal mass ejection, and it all depends, Danny. Tomorrow, if we get scraped by it or if it's a direct hit. So tomorrow, if you notice, internet is acting funny, like all of a sudden it's starting to get slow. Your phone dropping calls, there's probably gonna be, if we get a hit, it depends what area will most likely, because that's been happening. We got in 2 years, it's gonna reach its peak, the sun, its cycle, the 11-year cycle. So it's going to reach its peak in about 2 years, but it's really starting to act up now because there's a lot of sunspots. And I know that totally is a different subject, but I just want to address Danny because he's been asking for the last 30 minutes. And yeah, we're probably, if we get a good pop of it, definitely.
Wow, so, that's cool. I didn't know that. That's awesome to know. How I won the lottery roll, Eric, because they know you will watch without giving you more. I know that, but it's just our taxpayers' money is going into these departments, and classified or not, they should be talking about the stuff that's from the private sector too. I mean, that's
Eric. I gotta jump, man. I'm so sorry.
Problem.
I really do. Jack, it was a pleasure. Everybody, I'm so sorry to jump, but now at least you won't have somebody that's yelling. I'll talk to you guys later.
No problem. Different opinions are welcome.
Wrong channel. Not this one. That's Twitter. I wanted to show real quick. Stop screen. I want to show your channel for a second. Now, this is your channel, Cosmic Road. Do you do live shows, or is it uploads on I know you do have live shows. Like, do you have certain days you do a live show? Like, what's your schedule like on your
I
channel?
really should get more regular on that. I just kind of do it whenever I get in the mood. But yeah, I usually pop up a few pre-tape shows a day. Whenever I'll make a analysis and commentary on the latest UFO news or research, and I'll try to put up at least one or two a day.
So uploads, well, maybe 1 or 2 a day, but then live shows, I do see you do live like 2 days ago, 4 days, 8 days, then you skip to a month. So that's a field type of deal. You feel it. You feel when you want to do a live show. Then
I'm a novelist. I'm a artsy fartsy, unorganized, undisciplined guy. But I should try to make myself be more regular. And you're 100% right. And my viewers have encouraged me to do that, and I just need to make that happen.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, like I said, first of all, I really want to say I absolutely love today's show because I love hearing people's different opinions because we all don't think the same. We just, and that's fair. We don't. But there's a lot of channels that are afraid to put people with different ideas because they want to swing a certain way for this and that. And myself, I believe in UFOs from another planet. I believe we've been visited. For me, and we didn't talk about this at all during the show today. They are certain shows that are not certain shows, certain people, they start to go like super soldier, science fiction, that kind of, we didn't dive into some of those people who believe in these super soldiers and all that. So I hope maybe one day, Jack, that I would love you to come back on in the future and continue with these conversations because it's important to hear all sides.
Yeah,
I agree with what you said in the beginning of the show that you didn't come to your conclusion just hearing it once. You did your research. It was enough for you to swing one way. Where Ron did his research, he swings another way, and that's fine. And I want to know what swings, you this way, Ron this way, because at the end of the day, it's about you yourself on what you feel like is the best information for yourself. You know what I mean? It's about that at the end of the day.
Yeah, well, for me, once the burden of proof had been satisfied, like on my channel, I'm not out to prove it. For my own personal interest, I'm out to understand it. For me, it exists. I want to know why, what it's doing here, what is our relationship with it, how can we make that a better relationship, and what's it all about, what's the big picture, where do we go from here. I don't have any interest in debunking Mick West or whatever. I'm not interested in proving it. If you haven't done a lot of research, I totally understand, being more skeptical. But if you have done an exhaustive amount of research, it's hard to argue. It's hard to deny the reality of the phenomenon. And then now I've experienced it, and I've experienced, some of the weirder aspects of it as well, and really cool stuff too. And I love it. I love it. But there are some negative aspects too. And that's why I really take issue with people like Stephen Greer who try to pretend that there are no negative aspects. And, but
I've always said this is the day I die. There is no truth at 100% unless it happens to you. I believe in UFOs, but until a spaceship lands in my backyard, I cannot say that at 100%. I just can't.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean? I believe it, but I'm not saying I want an alien ship to come down and abduct me, but like in a weird way, I kind of do. So I know that it is absolutely real, but I just don't want to go through the experiments that they do on you. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Hell no. I mean, Willie Strieber and others have described very traumatic and awful experiences that did get better over time. And now Willie Strieber is very positive on the phenomenon and talks glowingly about it. But he doesn't shy away from the darker negative stuff either. But yeah, no, I mean, from the research I did, I was very satisfied that it existed. And then I tried to understand all the various aspects of it. And eventually I began to experience it.
And everybody in the chat, tomorrow, hopefully everybody in the chat will come back tomorrow, because tomorrow I got another guest coming on, and you know her very well. Alien Girl 1111 is actually coming on tomorrow, and I want to talk to her about her. She was just at Roswell with that big, convention in Roswell. I want to know how it went. Did she meet anybody? Did she hear anything different, new? So that's going to be fun to catch up on that. I couldn't go down to Roswell, the UFO event, but she did. So I'm excited to hear what she has to say. So that's tomorrow's show. And one last thing, people. I'm not a person that tries to sell things. But if you go to my community tab, my son, who's going to go to college, has opened a store my son's trying to make money for his college. And he makes these little, he has a 3D printer and all that. He makes these little men here. They're quality resin miniatures. And if you're like if you play like role playing games and all that, he makes these on his store. So, and they're not expensive at all. And I love it when, even though he's my son, I love it when people try to make things for people.
That's really cool, man. I love it.
Look at that. He's got the dice. He's got the dice, and he makes these. He's designed these himself. He designed these. So this ain't somebody else's design. He makes them himself. These are handmade.
Now, he's got talent, man. He really does.
And he's like, Dad, I want to make money for college, and I made this. And I go, that's awesome. That's awesome. Now I hope he does sell, because sending kids to college is expensive. But you can see here, the link is in my community bar. Go to it. And these little items, guys, they're only $6.50, $7. These aren't $20, $30. So if you do role-playing games, stuff like that, please check it out. And I'll tell you guys something. I know when somebody's going to buy something, because right now he makes it in his bedroom. And when he makes it in his bedroom, he has to leave his bedroom sometimes because of all the fumes. When he goes out in the front room, he hates when I'm in the front room. So I get kicked downstairs. So if you guys want to kick me downstairs, you buy one, he'll kick me out. Actually, we're building him a table today and all that. He's building like himself, like a small little tiny little warehouse here. So you guys, check it out. Please check it out. Buy one or two. He hasn't sold one yet, but I think if somebody buys one from him, I think that'll give him like, you know what I mean? Like, wow, I could do this. You know what I mean? So Jack, again, thank you so much for coming on. It was fun.
Thanks for having me.
And beyond that, everybody in the chat, come back tomorrow. Alien Girl 111 is going to be here, and we'll just have a fun time. Beyond that, we'll see everybody later.